which means their waypoint moved, which means that when they reach the first waypoint, they'll automatically go to the second waypoint. And if you don't know why, then the reason is because you don't want to go, like, normally the Brutal will have a massive defense here, base defenses, and flak troopers and anti-air, basically, bullfrogs. So you want to avoid all of that by going around. And you can see he's doing his bombing run now. And then on the super reactor, which is always a good idea. So that's a nice little strategy, using waypoint move to kind of avoid all the base defense. He's going for the main. Sasha's going for, or Gtmustang is going for the Brutal's main base. Yeah, his real name is Sasha, but he goes by the call sign Gtmustang, or, well, that's what he normally uses, so that's what I'm going to call him in this video. But here's this massive fortification, and I don't know, the Brutal can't do anything about it. It's impenetrable. So slightly dangerous. The game's first dreadnought. Scary, ooh, but not that scary if you don't, like, he does back it up with some bullfrogs and stuff, but it's just not enough. So and a zeppelin, but like, normally the Brutal comes at you with 5 zeppelins and like 3 dreadnoughts. So this is somehow not that scary. Here you see the waypoint again. Vindicators are going around the main base. They're not coming to the front door. They're going through the back door, or side door even, you could say. And they're untouched, look. Whee! Beautiful. Beautiful to behold. And then they hurry back to their main base, or to the airfield, to recharge. So yeah, it's like super effective. If you want to flank your enemy with Vindicators, you will be very effective, because you won't get shot down all the time by base defense. So it's really a good idea to do that. You want to check up on these fortifications once in a while as well, to see if you have to repair or rebuild some of them, because you will have to keep it up all the time. Here is Natasha. Normally it's a good, awesome strategy. If you had 5 Zeppelins, 3 Dreadnoughts, and Natasha, it's like, you know, great strategy, dude, but this one thing is not going to really, I mean, when I'm looking at these Apollos and these base defense, somehow I don't seem so convinced. Yeah, I'm going to go with the Vindies. They're just so awesome, like, especially in this game. They're pretty effective. At this point, Brutal has expanded. What he did was he sold his Sputnik, I think, and got a conscript out of it. And then what you do with the conscript is you fortify right next to your refinery, if you do use that strategy. Zeppelin goes down. I was wanting to show you that, but basically your multi-gunner turrets and your 4 Apollo fighters will take care of the Zeppelin pretty damn fast. What's not going to happen is defense against the Dreadnought, so you will have to counter this with your Vindicators, which is pretty easy because it's really slow. You lose your Spectrum Tower, you rebuild it, of course. Natasha's going down, the Dreadnought's going down. Boom, there goes the Dreadnought, boom, there goes Natasha. Like right there, and right there, or somewhere over there anyway. It's hard to tell with all this carnage going on. And yeah, you can see there's the 4th refinery, and there's the base defense. Space is maybe a bit of an issue here, like on the map. And while I was blabbering away, of course, Sasha's built, or Gtmustang has built his proton collider. And the important thing here is he built it before the Brutal could. Built it like a minute before almost, or 50 seconds before. When this reactor goes, it's going to take down that refinery, and that's going to be a pretty big blow for the Brutal, to be very honest, because it's not looking so good for him right now, I'd say. He's building, but it's just not that convincing. So it's 3 versus 4 refineries. Or if we recalculate that, you could say is the Brutal has, if he loses that one refinery from the super reactor, he actually has 4 refineries and Sasha has 4 refineries. So economically they're even now, which is just really devastating for the Brutal. Because the most scary thing about him is the resources he has, but Sasha's kind of countered that by making the Brutal waste his money on base defenses and bombing his refinery with Vindicators. Very effective strategy. And now comes the switch in tactics. Because Sasha saw the Dreadnought, so when you see this, or Gtmustang saw the Dreadnought, so when you see the Dreadnought, you build, ideally you should have built a naval yard before as well. You build your naval yard, and you upgrade, so you get the assault destroyers, so you get tier 2, whatever, and you also want to eventually upgrade to tier 3, because you'll have to counter some things later on. It's also a cool strategy to use. It's always fun to use like your navy because it's so unused in human, like in tournaments. You know, with the games with Matisse and Lex and Technique and all this. Is like navy is so underused. It's kind of fun to when you play against the computer because if there's a long game like this invariably might be, then you'll see all these like awesome naval units, and it's always fun to see those because they don't come into play in the tournaments. I feel it's always like you always see masses of helicopters or tanks or like vindicators and stuff, and it's just nice to see that there's actually other units in the game, and they're pretty damn awesome when you use them properly. And that's what we're going to see here. 3 assault destroyers. One of them has their special ability on, and an aircraft carrier. It's not that often you see that on games. Tell you that much. QRF airship versus 4 Apollo fighters and like 3 multi-gunner turrets. Who's going to win? Obviously, the Apollo fighters. Zeppelin definitely goes down. But look how much collateral damage the Zeppelin does to the oil refinery or oil derrick. Loses like a lot. Pretty crazy. So you always want to back your fleet up with anti-air, of course, and anti-ship or anti-sub, meaning you build the riptides basically if you're allies. And if you're Japanese, you build Akula subs. And if you're Russian, then you build subs.